Hi everyone, welcome to another episode from Art of HDR. And today I would like to make a demo with Lightroom 5 beta, which is released a few days ago. And I would like to show you how one can use Lightroom 5 to process the photos. Today actually I'm not going to demonstrate in HDR. I want to actually demonstrate to post-process a single photo without HDR. So I must also already admit that I'm using less and less HDR in my work process. Maybe at the moment about half of the photos that I do are HDR. And one reason is that nowadays the cameras are so good, the raw image is so good that you can do a lot from a single photo. So I want to demonstrate it here with this photo that I took in Arches National Park a few months ago, last Thanksgiving actually. So I wanted to make kind of bracketing here, but apparently I did this a little bit sloppy. So there is the movement here, especially very clear. So it would be not so maybe beneficial to try to do HDR here, but I want to actually work on a single one. Actually, I want to work on this one. So it's always better to use the relatively overexposed compared to relatively less exposed, because this has information that we can process, and this dark areas has really little information. If you try to expose, well, actually, you can see even with this one, it comes already a lot, but maybe if we zoom, we will see the noise. But originally it's like this. Imagine how powerful are the cameras. So I took this with a D800 and it has this amazing capacity. This is so amazing. So basically a single photo already gets you a lot, so you don't really need to bracket anymore. Okay, let's work on this photo. And Lightroom 5 has some features that I think is pretty cool. It's getting better and better. It's getting in a way good that we will need less and less Photoshop. Hopefully in future we won't need Photoshop at all. And I will demonstrate you a couple of key features. So if you want to process this photo, one main thing you can see, the exposure is not well distributed through the sky and the foreground. And there's this guy here kind of moving. Maybe what we can do later is to bring the guy from other one where, here he's not moving, so we can maybe take this one if needed. But it could be that we are okay with this one. So I always go from top to bottom on the develop module in Lightroom. And so these are the tools that is used to do some local changes mostly. And this tool is the now new one. What is its name? Let's see, actually. Okay, radial filter. Shift M is the control. So what it does is that you can make a radial region, define a radial region, then change the parameters. So double click the effects to 0, and you can also either effect inside or outside of the chamber. And I want to effect inside. I will click this. That will convert. Now it will be only inside. So I want to, as you can see here, improve the light in the foreground using this. And you can move it around. You can tilt if you do it ellipse. So then, okay. So if you come close here to the border, it will give you the option to tilt around. It is nice that you can do some nice lighting, but eventually if you have the brush tool, for instance, if I go to brush tool, let's remove the previous one. Okay, let's remove this one and use the brush tool. And if I do select brush tool and increase the exposure, so of course, this gives me more flexibility. I can change the size. I can do local painting, right? So I'm not so much convinced with the benefit of this new tool, but one has to play around a little bit more to see what is superior, what is it superior for it compared to brush tool. So just a little bit more light to the rock here. So what I will do then, here I will highlights the sky, mostly highlights. I will decrease it to get the sky better. Actually, I can decrease it almost to 100, minus 100. That looks good. Increasing shadows will bring me more foreground, and you can also get a little bit more contrast by increasing white if you hold Alt and or Option key in Mac, and if you slide, then this will show you where is the saturation for white point comes. So it's, you can see on the left now. So we went so far that it would give me really good dynamic range. Basically now we have very bright. The light range goes up to very bright, and we can do the same with black by pushing to other way around to get some blacks. So now the photo goes from very black to very white, and this will bring, of course, contrast in. And this is now comparing before and after by clicking Y. And let's check this white and black edition. Before white and black, after white and black. Again, you can see how the contrast is amazingly improved. One thing is, do we need so much contrast like this? You know, one can go a little bit lower to get relatively less contrast. And I want to increase actually a little bit more light to the foreground. And then let's continue. So now we got the sky actually getting whites in. As you can see, now the sky is too much lit. So we may decrease the exposure for it, or we can again choose the brush tool using K, and then this time I will go other way around, lower exposure, and get the sky a little bit darker. If we click O, then it will show us the mask, and if you hold Alt, it will then extract the brush tool. O again, back to real image, so we can maybe decrease a little bit more. Okay, that looks good. So even we can get a little bit more contrast to the and saturation to get a little bit more color and sharpness. Actually, I will do it later. Clarity for clouds. Let's compare by zooming in. I'm gonna get 1 to 3 view. So I will fix this later. I think it looks pretty good to me. Okay. Y, Z back, and K to close the brush tool. Now continue. So I'm done with this part. I will add clarity. Clarity is very powerful. It brings a lot of structure. Don't overdo it. It will make it very artificial. You know, somewhere in the middle, 40, 50%, you know, somewhere 30 to 50 is good. And vibrance will bring in color more, and then saturation will get the color saturation more. So I think we are now doing a good job here. I don't want too much artificial colors, so I want to keep the rock colors very close to the natural color. So you can selectively change the colors here. I don't play with the curve. One can go medium contrast, and I don't do that because I prefer to do this in Photoshop. So if you want to, let's say, change the hue of the color stones, if you want to make it more yellowish, but it goes freaky in the sky, so I'm not going to change anything here. And then we go back to come to sharpening. I usually go around 130, 40, and I keep Alt key, reduce the radius a little bit, 0.8, and then I give the masking. So increase the masking, then this will be, so if you hold it again, so now the sharpening is applied only where the image is white. So as you can see now, I can exclude it from the sky. That will help me to not to have noise in the sky. So only the sharpness will come to the places that I want, let's say the rock. So I don't want, let's say, clouds. These are relatively to be sharp because it will bring noise. That looks good, and we can always get a little bit of noise reduction. And this is a new tool in Lightroom 5. If you click Enable Profile and then click Auto, it will fix the profile of the image if you use particularly a wide-angle lens. So I want to show you the before and after. Before, there's very slight fix. If there would be some buildings tilted, it would be more clear, but so at the moment we don't really have something to fix, so I will just disable it. Of course, it also fixes the edges. That's also nice, so we can actually keep it. So another thing in the Lightroom 5 version is the spot removal tool is enhanced. If you click it, and there will be here visualize spots, and if you click this one, this will show you the dots from your camera. So here it's pretty clear one. So this is the ones coming from the dust coming from your camera. So by changing the threshold, you can try to identify more of the spots. I'm not really convinced also that this tool is working very nicely because I don't understand now. These are not spots, of course, but it shows me something really fake. Maybe this is a spot. So basically this should be able to recognize only circular things, but apparently it's not as great. Maybe this is just the first version, we will see. I will check the spots in Photoshop later again to remove the rest. Q to remove the spot tool. And now I think I'm satisfied this till here with Lightroom 5. Now I will do the rest in actually Photoshop. Let's go to right click, edit in CS5, Photoshop, whichever version you have, and you say open anyway. Now I will run the Photoshop and then improve the photo even more, I hope. So these are my unique filters. I had HDR FX Pro, so if you have now one, Google gives you everything free, so I get a whole package now. Since I had one, I paid for one. So I want to create another window for my second screen, which you cannot see, but I can see on my Mac screen that I can see the colors better. So here now we will work on a couple of, first let's see if there are spots to be removed by choosing J spot removal tool. I will just scan the photo from top to bottom and see if there are some spots to be removed here. See, this Lightroom could not detect this one. And we could also fix this fringes on Lightroom. I will do that when we are back to Lightroom. And And I think spots are okay now. I don't see much of a problem in terms of spots. Okay. Then let's zoom back to actual fit screen. So my typical workflow, go to levels, then click auto and see what's going to happen. Yeah, it looks improved. At least you can see a lot of contrast coming into photo, and the sky is getting a little bit artificial, and I'm not really sure actually if this is good manipulation. So we can try to decrease the opacity, the effect, and make a milder contrast increase. Okay, that looks better. And then I go to curves, click auto. Let's see what's going to happen. Again, some kind of increased contrast. Especially what it's doing is trying to darken the photo to have more contrast. So let's reset this. Make the Photoshop. Okay, so I'm going to do again the curve, and you can go here and choose linear contrast and see if, yeah, I mean it's not bad, it's improving, but it's, again, the darkness could be a little bit too much for sky. That brings a little bit artificial color. The third is the brightness contrast. There you can add a little bit on brightness and contrast, and then see how the photo is improved. Okay, let's merge, choose all of them, then Command or Control E, and then duplicate the background, Control J or Command J. Then I go to Dodge and Burn. Let's start with Dodge to make the regions are brighter. So here at 15% strength. So I want to focus on here, maybe this bushes here, this body here a little bit more. We have to work on these shadows, and also I want to remove this part. So let's get a little bit more light here, that we know the light comes from here, and we know that there are the stairs here, and and then we can also increase a little bit more here, get light, and we know what's going on top. A little bit more light there, some light here, a little bit zoom out, increase the brush, more light here. We can focus on this green here and green here. Okay, so we can create like as if the light is hitting here, and then here is darker, and then this light comes to this guy. Okay, let's do a little bit burn. So the stairs got a little bit too much. So, and to surrounding, we can make the surrounding of photo a little bit darker to give some kind of vignetting effect. And then here we can make darker to get more shadows to the edges, a little bit more shadows here, more shadows here at the selective regions. Here a little bit to make a path, shadow through the edges of the light. Okay, so let's look before and after. So we have a more clear focus point. You can see now we have, at the moment this is a bit dull. We don't know where to look, and now this gives us some points to look. We know here is kind of important, here is kind of important. I mean, I don't know why this part is important, but we can get actually this part as important part. We can increase the light there, and then it's also increasing the color saturation. We'll go to sponge, and I will do desaturation. I don't want this purple hue coming too much. Okay, that looks good. A little bit more here, remove the purples. and we can get saturation tool and then give more color to clouds and the sky, which is always good. And then maybe to this greens here, little green here, more saturation. And I will desaturate this area, this guy, the shoes of this guy, and this sky here. Okay, a little bit, this looks fake, this we can fix. This purple here, I think that looks good now. A little bit more on this purple. Good. Let's fix this particular problems of shadow. So before and after with the Dutch tool, Dutch and burn, I think it's already pretty good. Now I will go in and then do some cloning to remove the shadows of this or movements of this guy. So let's choose S, click S to choose the stem tool. Alt key, we can then start to get the opacity 100%. Okay, let's make the head of the guy. Fill the head of the guy like a circle. We know that he has head, and then we can remove the shadows. And I'm not really sure why we have this one. One can actually, of course, do relatively good job by going very close and working on this, but I'm not really sure that I need so much of work here. Okay, let's do relatively quick job. I don't want to take too much time off. So let's continue. Let's just fix this area. Again, I didn't like the... Okay, so I choose the spot healing tool. I want to remove these bushes here. And very simply just fill it or scan it with your brush healing tool. I think it will do a good job, good enough. We don't have to deal much to save time. And if you want to remove some other dirts around, you can work on them. I don't see actually so much of a dirt here, and I'm kind of disturbed with this blue of this guy. Let's decrease these blues by taking the saturation. We can zoom in a little bit, and then let's get this blues out a little bit. It's too blue. Okay, that looks better. Fit in. Now before and after. So you see how we fixed the guy. He looks now much better. Merge the layers, save the image, Control S, and then we will do Control W, go back to, so Control S to save, Control W to exit Photoshop. Then the new image, edited image, will be imported back to Lightroom. And then we will do a couple of new small things, and we will be done. So here now, this is from Photoshop. This is before we went to Photoshop. Let's compare them. Select two and click C. It will be compare. So we now compare. This is before Photoshop, after Photoshop. And we can see what we enhance is the color, contrast. Then we have the light here. A clear focus here. We don't have a focus, and we fix the movement of the guy. We remove these bushes. I think it looks much better now. Okay, see again, back to this one. Let's fix the fringes actually. So fringes are this color shift at the edges of this. Here you see the blues. Actually, this shouldn't be there. So we go back to develop menu. And it should be under lens correction color, the fringe choose remove chromatic aberrations, pick your tool, and here go and choose this blue cyan color. It should be trying to remove it. It's not doing so great job here, but I think still it improved. Yeah, you can see it improved, but it brought a little bit artificial effect here. Let's go back and click one more from the beginning. Another, okay. And then let's see if we have something else on the other side. Okay, that looks okay actually. I mean, still one could do better job here, but okay, this did better. Yeah, actually we removed it now. That was a better click. Now it's removed. So we can think that it's done, this photo. I mean, one can add a little bit of vignetting to have the focus to the middle, a little bit more. So before and after you can see now. I think that helps to focus somewhere. We can check also again the white and blacks again if you want to get a little bit more contrast. And let's again compare before and after. So just the colors went too much now. We can decrease the saturation to get the colors a little bit to normal. And check again. Yeah, we have enhanced contrast with these last two things. And if you compare again, okay, let's click Y. We can do comparison like this. So, okay. And tool. I think it looks better. Okay, done. So let's just export those and then we will be done. So I will export it first for 500px, Arches National Park. Let's say the photographer, 500px. So this is, I export for 500px with 900 pixel resolution. This is what they shrink the photos. So since I do it already 900, so then they don't have to, or my photo should not be shrink by them. So I go and do 1200 pixel one. That is for my other purposes. Let's say 1200 pixel and 95 JPEG quality. The long edge is 1200. Sharpen for screen and then nothing else. Then I go and export it for Facebook, which I have. I put like FB, Facebook, and then quality like this, 95, 1200 resolution, screen sharpening. I have my copyright name. And then I finally export it full resolution just for printing purposes. And I call this full FS, full resolution for printing, glossy paper low, and export. So I hope you liked the demo. Thanks for listening, and please give your comments and feedbacks. Take care.